What's up, guys? Swift here, covering everything Chicago Bears. No matter what is going on in the NFL world, most Bear fans' attention is mostly focused on what we will do with the number one overall pick. We have the scouting combine coming up in 3 weeks, and we are just over a month away from NFL free agency. We will also find out which guys get franchise tags soon. The offseason will really start to pick up in a couple of weeks. I actually can't wait for this Super Bowl to be over with so we can dig fully into this offseason. But today we are going to talk about the number one pick again. It's been about a month since I made my realistic trade partners video, and there's been a lot of NFL news and draft rumors since then. Some of them are all smoke and mirrors, but there are some connections we can make. Let's get right into it. Have the Tennessee Titans entered trade talks? This one is interesting. I do firmly believe that the Titans could move on from Ryan Tannehill this season. If I had to guess, I think he's a good fit with the Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Smith, the Falcons head coach, was Tannehill's offensive coordinator in Tennessee, but what are the odds they come up to number one? It's possible. They would have to put together a very large package. Moving all the way down to number 11 is a big drop, and I think should net us 3 first-round picks and a second this year. It's also possible they could throw in a guy like Jeffrey Simmons, who is a young stud at defensive tackle. He's a perfect 3-tech in our system. I would love a move down like this, to be honest. I know most people are stuck on us staying in the top 4 and taking Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, but man, this is the only opportunity we might have in the next decade or so to pick up extra first-round picks. So what's more important in my opinion? Taking Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, or having 2 first-round picks in 2024, possibly 2025 as well, and adding another second-rounder this year? To me, it's a no-brainer. Jalen Carter and Will Anderson are awesome, but I would take the multiple first-round picks every single time. Think about just if we could land Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. Too many people seem to think that Anderson and Carter are the next Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald. The problem with this is Aaron Donald didn't even go in the top 10 of his draft. Carter and Anderson are both elite prospects, but I don't know if either one is worth passing up a mega deal with multiple first-round picks if someone offers. It could be the Titans, the Panthers, the Commanders, any team outside the top 5, and even more if they are outside the top 10, would have to include multiple first-round picks, and to me that's just something you don't pass up. I love Will Anderson, but do I think there's a 100% chance he's the best pass rusher in this class? No way. It's likely, but there's a ton of other edge rushers in this class, and Anderson is far from the only guy who could get it done. And also, he's not the best scheme fit, so I wouldn't write off the Bears trading outside of the top 4. I still think a trade with the Colts at number 4 makes the most sense, but if the Colts don't give us a great offer and a team lower down does, Ryan Poles is going to take the value, and this pick is for sale. I'm hoping for at least 2 first-round picks and a second-rounder this year to make up for the Claypool trade. Obviously, the number 1 option, in my opinion, is the Colts. If we can stay inside the top 4, get an extra first-rounder next year, and a second-rounder this year, possibly more, that's a no-brainer to me. But don't rule out a team outside of the top 4 just yet. Moving on, are the Texans still interested in trading up? Does DeMeco Ryans' hire affect things? The Texans are a very popular team right now when it comes to trade downs. Most people's dream double trade down involves going back with the Texans to number 2 and then trading back to the Colts at number 4. Part of it makes sense. The Texans need a quarterback. David Mills is not the guy, and they have tons of extra draft capital thanks to the Deshaun Watson trade. Since we last spoke about the Texans, they've hired a brand new coach though, DeMeco Ryans. He actually commented on trading up and seemed to be against the idea. He's a defensive guy and spoke about how it takes an entire team to win. Offense, defense, and special teams. He's the head coach and not the GM, but I have to think that his hire definitely lowers the chances that Houston trades up to number 1 overall. I just don't see them giving up a lot of draft capital to move up one slot. I'm definitely not ruling it out yet, but I think the odds of us trading down with the Texans at number 2 are much lower than they were about a month ago. Next up is Tom Brady's retirement. Does this have an effect? What about the Raiders? Actually, yes, it does. Brady's retirement helps. Bottom line is it's one less quarterback available this offseason. There are still a lot of dominoes to fall. Where does Aaron Rodgers go? What team ends up with David Carr? Jimmy Garoppolo? These moves still need to happen, and teams still have to finish evaluating the top quarterbacks in this draft class. I believe teams will come to a consensus on that within the next month, shortly after the Combine, meaning it's very possible that Poles moves this pick next month in March. 2 reasons for optimism here, though. A lot of teams are looking for franchise quarterbacks, and there are simply not enough quarterbacks to go around, meaning that some teams will be left out in the cold. This increases the value of the number 1 pick. The Bears don't need to lie and pretend they're going to take Bryce Young. Other teams know that there aren't enough quarterbacks to go around, and if you really want your guy, especially in the draft, you have to come up and get him at number 1 overall. If you look up QB rankings in this draft, though, almost everyone has a different guy ranked number 1. There are 3 potential options for this number 1 pick, whether it's Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or Will Levis. I don't care which QB they take, but it's very likely that a few of these teams fall in love with a guy and want to move up. Ryan Poles should have multiple options when it comes to trading down, although I doubt we could pull off a double trade down within the top 4. I think a second trade down would have to come from a team like the Titans, Panthers, Commanders, someone outside of the top 4. Ryan Poles loves value, so it's still very possible that he could trade down twice or even trade down at other times in the draft as well. I feel like he will come out of this draft with extra picks, and I'm hoping at least one extra first-round pick next year. It does set up potential disappointment. If we stay at number 1 and just take the best player overall, I'm going to love the guy. Whether it's Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, he's going to get a top prospect, but I prefer the trade down and getting extra picks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, which trades you would want to see, or what do you think about my take? I spent the weekend watching tape on Senior Bowl prospects. I'm finishing up my rankings on some of these guys after the games. Special thanks to anyone that hung out with me and Jordan Silvera for the Senior Bowl. It was a great game. Not enough passing, though. I will have a couple more videos on Senior Bowl prospects. I'm watching a little bit of tape. I have to scout a few more guys over the next couple of days. Stay tuned. Remember to hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.